This is the Hub on Hollywood for a special non-spoiler review of Jurassic World Dominion coming out in theaters on June 10th. 4 years after the destruction of Isla Nublar, dinosaurs now live and hunt alongside humans all over the world. This fragile balance will reshape the future and determine once and for all whether humans are to remain the apex predators on a planet they now share with history's most fearsome in a new era. We have Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, and B.D. Wong reprising their roles from the previous Jurassic World films, along with newcomer DeWanda Weiss, and old favorites from the original Jurassic Park, Laura Dern, Sam Neill, and Jeff Goldblum. We are now in a time when humans are living in a dinosaur-filled world, large and small, in the sky, on the land, and in the water. There's also a black market where people capture, trade, sell dinosaurs to the highest bidder. Some use them now as military-style weapons, something we saw in the previous film. We find Owen Grady, Claire, and Macy Lockwood, the little girl who is also a clone from the previous film. They're hiding away in the Sierra Nevada mountains along with the velociraptor known as Blue, who also has a baby raptor of her own named Beta. In this film, we have mercenary-type people who find them and kidnap both Maisie and Blue's daughter. They work for this new corporation called Biosyn that's part of this main evil global plot to take over the world. Meanwhile, Allie Sattler, she's trying to get to the bottom of this swarm of giant locusts that are wreaking havoc on the world's food supply, and she only trusts one person who can help her get to the bottom of this, her old friend Alan Grant. Sadly, however, not even the nostalgic return of Allie Sattler, Alan Grant, and Ian Malcolm are enough to save this franchise from extinction. This movie suffers from, I think, a lack of focus, with 3 plot lines kind of packed into one, and no real tension for any of the main characters. At no point do you feel any real concern that the characters are not going to make it out at any time. This movie gives us, I think, too much of what we've already seen in Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom, but it fails with showing us how this new Jurassic World operates now that dinosaurs are almost always interacting with humans and society in one way or another. Instead, we get more of characters trying to survive where dinosaurs live, trying to escape a compound of sorts, with an ending that doesn't really deliver the high stakes that were promised in the synopsis. The actors, they're not doing a bad job. They are good at doing what they're told to do, but there really isn't much attachment to the characters other than those played by Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum. They are, I would say, the highlights of the film, bouncing off one another, having fun, in the way that we saw in the original film. But other than that, not even they can pull this movie together. There's also a new character played by DeWanda Weiss, who plays Kayla Watts. She lives and works in the world of this black market, but there's really not much depth to her character, other than basically being the female version of Chris Pratt's Owen Grady. With a runtime of 2 hours and 27 minutes, this feels very bloated. Now, the VFX, the CGI is good, but it still does not compare to the original Jurassic Park effects, even though they did use more practical effects, more practical dinosaurs in this film, I think. But I think there was so much potential when it came to showing the dinosaurs interacting with society and even the underground black market, but we don't see much more creativity or anything really new, including the militarized raptors that we saw in the previous film. The main villain we are introduced to is a character who is basically like a clone of Steve Jobs with a company called Biosyn, which is what Apple would be if it made dinosaurs as opposed to iPhones. His evil global plan makes sense from an evil billionaire standpoint, I guess, but again, not much depth there. Now, overall, I think if you are fans of the original Jurassic Park, you will not like this movie, but if you did like Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom, I think it's possible you'll enjoy the ride, but this probably won't be your favorite of the 3. Overall, I think you can skip the theater experience for this. You should wait to watch it when it comes out on any of the streaming services, to rent, not to buy. But that's my overall thought. Again, it comes out on June 10th to theaters everywhere. Let me know what you think. Did you like the new Jurassic World series? Are you a Jurassic Park stan like myself and believe everything after the first film is not canon? But let me know what you think about Jurassic World Dominion. Again, it is coming out on June 10th. They say this will be the last movie of the Jurassic World series. That makes me think that this franchise is not going to go extinct. I think there is going to be a reboot of some sort in the future. But let us know what you think. Comment down below, join the conversation. But until next time, I'm James, and this was The Hub on Hollywood.